don't confuse silence with work ethic. I'm a boss, making decisions my first fetish. The verse cherished is perfect, that's a reverse blemish. I dropped it, connected the block, learn Tetris.
This is the Sorry Street Podcast. Welcome to the house of. And shout out to the members.
I don't even know if we're supposed to be shocked right now. Yeah, it's official. ESPN cuts ties with Shannon Sharpe following settlement of sexual assault lawsuit. AP sources say. All right, let's check this out. Hall of Fame tight end turned broadcaster Shannon Sharpe will not return to ESPN. A person with knowledge of the decision told the Associated Press on Wednesday. The decision comes less than 2 weeks after Sharpe resolved a lawsuit that accused him of sexual assault of a woman during a relationship. The person spoke to the AP on the condition of being anonymous, of course, because the decision has not been announced. Sharpe's last appearance on ESPN was late April when the lawsuit was filed in Nevada. No details of the settlement were released. The lawsuit had sought $50 million. So when we saw Shannon Sharpe step down, and even if we bring that up, that wasn't no step down as if he just willingly said, yo, let me walk away from this money, this multi-million-dollar ESPN contract that I had. We said it then and we're going to say it right now. That was kind of like one of those corporate America push out the doors. Like, we know what that's about. It's not a total firing. You got all types of legalities and contractual stuff and HR related stuff where it's not just fire. And then if he fights it and he wins it and then you fire him, he has a claim against ESPN. Okay. But when he did step down, here it was. This was all the way back in April. Actually, not too long ago, right? Shannon Sharpe steps away from ESPN amid sexual assault suit April 24th. Shannon Sharpe, Pro Football Hall of Fame tight end and current ESPN host, said Thursday he would step away from his TV duties after a Nevada woman sued him for essay and battery. Okay, now, who'd have believed that shit? We didn't, Shannon. We really didn't. And think about just what settlement did. Settling. Tony Busby and Gabriella Zaninga allegedly for the win. They had a $10 million mediation before it was even filed in court. They stepped away from that. Shannon and his legal team, they already said they was willing to come with the $10 million. He had that $100 million deal already waiting in the wind somewhere. So they was like, yo, we got 10. Tony Busby and Shorty said, no, we're going to go ahead and file this for 50. Shannon was so adamant in his public statement, I'm being shaken down. They're going to get countersued and all that. And I think he really meant that from the heart at the time. Then again, he was reading in that video. Remember, shortly after you settle, reports are not published publicly, but they already came out like last week. The alleged number, $23 million. That he settled for. A week or two after that, ESPN says, you know what that says? That says, we got to do this separation thing because we're ESPN. We are super corporate. We are clean. We are strap up your tie, talk proper. Don't use no ignorant words, no curse words or nothing like that. We can't have no dirt. We see what just happened to Joy Taylor, right? Allegedly, even though they let a bunch of people go, but she was wrapped up in that. These are very, very clean networks. So those allegations was not gonna go or fly on ESPN and the Stephen A. Smiths of the world. They know that. That's why he was talking so crazy when the allegations first came down, as if he didn't even know Shannon Sharpe like that. I don't know. I'm here for the big dogs. That's why Stephen A. Smith was playing it like that. He knows. But Shannon Sharpe, the moment you settled, ESPN said that's going to be interpreted in the public as guilt. Okay, there it is. Fired. Against our policy. We can't have that. What does this mean for his podcast? So the podcast is an independent thing. What does this mean for TV going forward? TV has to be a wrap. Like, how do you get fired from ESPN because of these type of allegations and this super public lawsuit that you settled for an alleged $23 billion? We done heard audio talking about I'm gonna choke you and all this. This little young underage girl, you 57 years old. I didn't mean to say underage. I meant too young for you, allegedly. That's what I'm gonna say. And that you can't have that on ESPN. So what network are you going to go to TV-wise after this? So if the man can continue to stay strong in the podcast world, but we see how this happens, man, everything be a wave. it's like even the Club Shay Shay show where he interviews all these big guests. Of course, it took a big jump from the Cat Williams interview. But what about after that? You got a lot of people, a lot of these record labels or corporate entities and backings and managers that say, you can't go sit in front of Shannon Sharpe. Some of our fan base might take that as a cosign. You can't do that. You gotta say that for some of the most smaller podcasts or something like that. Like Shannon Sharpe, like, nah, that's too. It got a different type of vibe. You want to come podcast with me? Cool. Maybe academics. You can't go do that shit if you got a certain type of reputation. When this man got these type of allegations out in the public and then he just settled. Man, oh man. So let's also think about what he may have lost from just the TV side. So I pulled it up here in the background. It's not public what his ESPN salary was, but it says sports media salary range. Top tier ESPN personalities typically earn $6 million through $20 million per year, with stars like Stephen A. Smith reportedly making around $20 million per year. Mid-level analysts who are visible but not primary faces often earn the $3 million through $6 million range. Shannon Sharpe's contract and role after joining ESPN First Take in September 2023, Sharpe signed a multi-year contract extension in mid-2024, expanding his media duties and visibility. While the exact figures were not publicly disclosed, his star power combined with his podcast success likely placed him on the high end of mid-tier bracket, estimated between $4 to $6 million. So let's just say it in the middle, $5 million a year. Who the fuck wants to lose $5 million a year while also being on TV? Because while you're on TV, making that $5 million a year, simply being that visible, being that much of a household, ESPN is a household show. Okay. People watch it on every corner of the globe, major sports network and coverage. And your face is there weekly, damn near daily, bi-weekly, etc. So that $5 million turns into whatever, because you got all these different types of endorsements, speaking opportunities, engagements, sponsorships. It loans to your podcast. It pushes your podcast, right? In essence, over the next 5 years, because of this lawsuit, let's say $5 million a year. So over the next 5 years, that's $25 million right there. Then let's say the alleged $23 million settlement, right? So 25 plus 23. Let's put it at a cool $50 million. Okay. Then sponsorships, which we identified in the background of his podcast, which appeared to step away. So let's just say a cool mill for the year in sponsorships. You're already over 51 million over the course of the next 5 years, just from this young, oh my God, 50 million over the next 5 years for playing around. How old was she? 20, 21, 22, 23, allegedly? Talk about fucked up decisions, B. No more TV, though, for Shannon Sharpe. ESPN said it is officially a wrap.
Don't confuse silence with work ethic. I'm a boss making decisions, my first fetish. The verse cherished is perfect, that's a reverse blemish. I dropped it, connected the block, learn Tetris.
This is the Sorry Street Podcast. Welcome to the house of. And shout out to the members.
Without my thing, still got a gun. Come on!